Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Lord have mercy. I don't know what we have in store today with Bishop Gregory Dennis. Usually I introduce my guest just before they speak, but we have Bishop Gregory Dennis here today, so it's a little different.
Oh,
But I am Portia Wheatley. I am the founder and president of a nonprofit organization which is also a 501c3 acknowledged as Trophy of Life. We have the vision and are committed to rendering hope and encouragement to the world. And let's take a second to welcome my co-host.
Hello, everyone.
Wonderful young lady, wonderful young lady. I tell you, I am just so happy to be with you all today. Now, we're in Maryland, and outside is snow and ice and slush. I don't know where you may be tuning in from, but I hope you've had your hot chocolate, your what else you drink? Hot milk, coffee, whatever it is to keep you warm. See, I'm not naming anything else. Anywho, anywho, um, before we turn the relieve us ourselves and turn the platform over to the great Reverend Honorable.
no.
Oh, okay, all right. Greg Dennis, Bishop G. I want to remind you, don't forget to go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel because we are taking this message all around the world. As far as God would allow us to do it, that's what
Yes.
we're going to do. And we're committed to rendering hope, encouragement, and inspiration. Well, today we have, there's only one Gregory Dennis. And believe me, there's no disrespect when I say Gregory Dennis, but look, I'm gonna do this now. Greg, please forgive me for everything I've ever done, I've ever done to you,
Too
so that
late.
you can be nice to me today. Anybody that knows Bishop G, we know he's a great man. Really, he's a great man of God, and I am
Yes.
so honored to have him today. And I am so blessed to have him as my senior pastor. And it's just been a blessing. And I want to just say Gregory Dennis. Oh, he likes to call people by their middle name to include that in Bishop Mr. Gregory Andre Dennis. I thank you for agreeing to come and be with us on today on Project 365, which is day 32, 32 consecutive days of
Woo.
being committed to rendering hope, encouragement, and inspiration. And again, I just want to thank you for being with us. So you have the platform, Bishop. Do your thing.
Well, thank you so much, Portia, Octavia, Stanley, Wheatley. I'm so glad to be with you all. Um, I know that you've always been a source of hope and inspiration and encouragement to so many. Anyone who knows Portia Stanley Wheatley knows that she has definitely caused us to experience hope, encouragement, and inspiration so that we can move from one place to the next. And I'm excited to be with you. I take no offense in being on day 32. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Um, uh, and of course, I'm a teaser. You know that. But I definitely am so glad to be here, and I'm praying that people take an opportunity to definitely hear this message on today. Um, because while, as you mentioned, being out in the snow in Maryland today, I was out shoveling in the snow, getting the ice out of my driveway because I think the next batch I didn't want to have ice under it,
Right.
and came back inside and freshened up so I could make sure that I was with you. But I did not want people to miss what I really believe is important for us to understand. I want people really to get today. And if you guys have questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. But I want people to really understand today that they have a measure of power.
Mm.
I really want people to understand their own power today. That um, that all of us have this measure of influence and ability. And when you talk about ability, ability is directly related to power, and it's also related to potential. But the dangerous thing about this is that potential nor power is executed until, or realized or benefited from, until we begin to operate. It's kind of like the door cell. We all love the door, I should say energizer. So I was gonna mix those two batteries up. The energizer, and the energizer bunny is there with, of course, the strong drum, his blue sandals on, his pink feet, and he's beating that drum. And now they have a new one where they're talking about the battery has even more power than before.
Mhm.
Well, this new battery, this new power is there, but it cannot be optimized until somebody decides that what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing on, right? And so I got a Rayovac. I don't have Energizer right here, right? That's what was in my drawer. But this right here is very symbolic of us as believers, us as people, that we have power, but we've got to do something with who we are. I'm reminded, my wife and I were talking the other day. We were talking about a ingenious idea that someone whom we know and love had, and how this idea was so great. And we were trying to figure out a way to get that out there, but we really did nothing with it. We just let the battery sit. And while we let the battery sit there, before we knew it, we were turning on the television, and on The View, somebody had the same idea
Wow.
that we had
Wow.
months ago. And now The View is sponsoring it and endorsing it. And, so people are going to be buying it and all of these other things. The question is, what do you do with your power? Right? What are you doing with it? Why are you letting it sit on the shelf? And the thing about this particular thing, it probably would have been better if I had a 9-volt battery, the square ones.
Mhm.
When I was a kid, my father always would buy me, I'm a car fanatic, and I blame it on my father, but he would buy me these remote control cars. And a lot of time they took the 9-volt batteries that have the two heads at the top. And the thing about being a young child with a 9-volt battery is that when you're a kid, sometimes you do dumb things. And so I would take my tongue and I would put it on see, thank you to Kira. Why are you looking at me? See, Portia, it's because they didn't have batteries when you were that age. But for the rest of us who had batteries when we were young, we probably at some point put our tongue on the front of that battery. And when you did that, what you did is you experienced the negative and the positive charge with saliva, and you got a little, what was that? Right. And what happens is that we all have that negative and we have that positive that happens in our life. And that negative and that positive in our life is meant to cause us to experience and to have power. So what I want people to really kind of get with on this morning, and to really hear, or whenever they watch this live, I want you to really realize that some of the negative things that have happened since the pandemic, or whenever it happened, those negative things, along with those positive things that have happened in your life, those things are meant to interact in you to cause us, or in us to cause us now to have a position of power, an ability to accomplish. The negative things that have happened to me in my life have inspired me to do something different, have pushed me to be someone different. And so I don't want us to ever be in a place where we all of a sudden look at our own lives and say, you know what, woe is me. No, that's just your negative charge. You've got another positive charge that's happening as well. And use both of those to cause power to be in your life. Now, of course, power is always needed in our lives, but what we also cannot forget, and Portia Stanley Wheatley, you need to give me a signal, because my last name is Dennis, so you're gonna have to tell me what's up. So, but the other thing that's great about power is that power should be, for us, shared. We need to share our power. We need not just to have it, not just to do something with it, but we need to share our power with others. When you go to work, don't take credit for what your team did by yourself. You honor the people who are around you. You share your power, share your influence. It causes the community to now move to a different place. And what happens is that power becomes contagious when you share your power. You've done it before. You've done it. And so sorry, because we just, I've got small kids. You know that my kids are 7 and 8 years old. So everything right now is 7 and 8-year-old related. But when my daughter comes to me and she says, the thing in my back, my toy is dead, the batteries aren't working. Sometimes I don't have to go get new batteries. Sometimes what I can do is use some of the batteries that have already been dormanted and mix in it with one that has power, and it's enough to make the whole thing work. God, I feel like I'm talking right now. And so where we are is when we really realize who we are, we realize that our shared power is enough to charge those whom we've been connected to, who don't have enough power to get out of what they're into, who don't have the thought pattern to think a little differently, who don't feel inspired to get up on tomorrow, who feel depressed when they're in the middle of winter, who feel like I gotta get out of this house during this pandemic. I don't want another day in this house with all of these kids. That sound personal. I'm sorry. But all of these other things, whatever that is that's going on, share your power. Share your power. Your power is not meant to be. Now, of course, I'm a pastor. I got all these Bibles up on this shelf. Is the Bible would say it this way. It would say every joint is meant to supply. And then it would say that one can chase 1,000, two puts 10,000 to flight. So if you add your power to someone else, even if they don't look as strong. See, one of the things we mix up with is we feel like everybody we got to hang with has to be as strong as we are. It's okay to be the strong one in the room. And it's okay to be the weak one in the room. As long as there is connection between you and the other, what happens is that the power that runs through all of us causes now the system to work. And so I want to encourage our hearts and our hope today that if you feel like you're the least, still remain connected. If you feel like you're the greatest, stay connected, because wherever you are in there, our shared power helps us get the assignment accomplished. And I believe that we're really in a season where we're going to see things that we have not seen before. If you are in a place, and I say this often, and I just can't get it out of my head, but if you're in a place where you are witnessing challenges, trauma, disadvantage, a lack of support, and ways and measures that you haven't before, the understanding of your power is that you will also experience those same measures in a greatness that you've never seen before. And so if you've been at disadvantage, you're about to experience an advantage, because the advantage and the disadvantage come together to witness your power. So don't get stuck. Our encouragement is not to get stuck when things look tough, when things look tight. We've all been there. I was telling somebody the other day, they were talking about how they had used somebody for some work, and how things were so tough in them. And I was like, and I started telling them how I was using an old mechanic to fix my car, and how at the time I didn't have the money for him to fix what he said was a necessary repair. He said, listen, it's not safe. If you don't get these ball joints he said, your ball joints are gone. He said, your wheels are going to come off your car. You keep driving like this. It's just not safe. And I said to him, I didn't go to family and say, hey, I need money. I just said to him simply, I said, I don't have the money for it. I said, I really don't. I said, I'm going to tell you the truth. I said, so you just got to put my wheels back on, and I'm going to have to take my chances. And he said to me, he said, I can't have you taking chances. This is what happens when those who are at advantage and those who feel like they're disadvantaged come together in a place. And he said, I can't have you take a chance. I said, well, I don't know what to do. I said, because I don't have, and so it's amazing to me at this time. But at the time I said to him, I don't have $350. I said, I can't scrape up $350. I don't know where I'm gonna get $350 from. I mean, I was on hard times. I was like, I can't borrow $350. I'm not calling my dad asking for $350. I know he's glad about that now. And I'm gonna tell you what the mechanic said to me. He said, well, let me tell you, here's what the parts cost me. And he said, because I don't want your life to be at stake, He said, just buy the parts at my cost and I'll do the labor. And when he did that, that caused me to leave out of his shop in a safe place. And then I used him once I got to a place where I could afford to get my cars fixed. I used him for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So it causes, so don't allow what's happening now, if it's a tight place, to cause you to struggle and to give up or to throw in the towel. No, no, no. This is just part of your building for your power experience. But you can't reserve it for yourself. Reserving power for yourself is a place where really before you know it, you become the person that no one wants to be around. Nobody likes being, nobody likes being secret. Nobody likes being around. Shh, don't tell anybody to care. Nobody likes being around the person who only thinks about themselves.
Mm.
Mhm.
Nobody likes this. It's like you just all one you're considering is you, but consider somebody else. And I don't know if you know it or not, Portia, but I'm a partial owner of a recovery center, and where we help people break from addictions, substance abuse. We do outpatient and intensive outpatient therapy, and I'm just amazed by what hope can do.
Yes. Yes.
Hope can
Yes.
change the direction of your entire life. I have seen young and old persons alike get a hold of hope, and hope becomes transformative. Hope causes you to experience a brand new norm for your life.
And it can
Um,
be your power, right? You think?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I was quick story. So, and you know my story.
Storytelling.
Quick story. So one of my clients, I can't mention his name, HIPAA, right? But one of my clients said to me, he said, they call me Bishop. It's so funny because people at church call me G. People at the recovery center call me Bishop. So he said, Bishop, he said, I'm in a place, man, where I know I'm addicted to these pills. I've got all of these challenges going on. And he said, but you keep telling me I can make it. And I said, you can. And he was going through the counseling. He took it seriously, started making changes in his life. And anyone who knows persons who deal with addictions, and especially substance abuse addiction, is or substance use disorder, is a lot of times what they are afraid of is money,
Hmm.
because they know if they get money in their
Gotta
hand,
go with.
it'll support their addiction all again. So sometimes they are afraid, if they're serious about becoming healed, is that they get timid around having finances. This guy came to me and he said, "Hey, Bishop." I said, "Hey man, how you doing? How things going?" "Things going good. Counseling's going well." He said, I really believe that, man, that you and the other people have talked to me and told me that I could do things. I really believe it now. And believing it, good God, believing it causes you now to act on it, right? So it causes now the power not to just be sitting in that dormant place. So when you believe it, you act on it, and when you act on it, then you get the benefit of it. He said to me, he said, "I'm gonna move." I said, "Okay, you gonna move?" He said, "Yep." He said, "I'm gonna move," and I was like, "I gotta kick you out the program anyway because you're doing too well." He ended up getting a job working, and he came to me, showed me his savings account. I said, "Dude," he said, "Yeah." I said, "Can I borrow $5,000?" But my point is that when you get a hold of hope,
Yes.
it inspires you to now be in a place where you've got this, oh, I can activate based off of the negative and the positive in my life that pushes me into power. And now I can experience what's actually intended for me. I want everybody to know that there's greatness intended for your life.
Mm.
I don't, it doesn't make a difference where you are. And greatness for me, and this is Greg Dennis. So I'm not talking for every pastor that will be on here for the next 333 days. But I am 30. Is that 33? Was that right? Okay. And so, but for me, your greatness is not tied to your income, your social economic status. You can be great and be on a bus today, and you can be great and be in a Bentley today, and you can be great and be trying to figure out even where your next meal's coming from. None of those are directly tied to or mention your greatness. You have greatness. You have power regardless. But I do want to encourage you to remain connected to people. And sometimes what we do is when we feel like things get tough, is we isolate ourselves. And I don't want any of us to isolate ourselves while we are in the middle of what we're in. So, okay, I feel like I'm getting long. So,
all right, 2 more minutes. Go ahead. You know you got 2 minutes in you.
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh. 6 minutes? 6 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes, Dougie Fresh. Um, so, so I want to encourage everyone today that I just popped my list. I'm sorry. I want to encourage everyone
Not the
today.
first time, Bishop. Just go ahead, Bishop. Just go ahead. I told you, audience, this is who he is.
Oh my goodness. I thought you did that. I didn't do that. You did it. Okay. All right. So I want to encourage everybody today that if Portia hurts your feelings, you'll be okay. No, I'm just joking. That no matter what happens in your life, you can actually use that. Use what shows up in your life as fuel to move you into the place that God has actually intended for you. And I love the passage of scripture where Paul talks about these things that have happened to me. Paul had a lot of things that happened, but Paul says these things that have happened to me have fallen out rather for the furtherance of the gospel. And he was not talking about just the positive things, but he was mentioning all the difficult things. He had been beaten and left in the streets for dead. But it was even in that place that he found out that he had a brotherhood that would drag him out of the city borders and restore him. And then he went back and completed his assignment. So I want us to remain connected. Don't become isolated, and realize that your negative as well as your positive are putting you in a place of power where you can walk in an authority that you maybe didn't even know you had. All right. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. And I know our audience appreciates that as well. And I think that in order to find your power or to identify it, sit with yourself for a moment, turn Facebook off. Not right now while we got, but every now and then you got to do without Facebook. You got to do without YouTube. You got to do without the TV, the radio, your phone at times, and just sit with yourself and allow Holy Spirit to speak to you. And he'll tell you what your gift is, what your power is, what your how you inspire other people, what it is that you inspire other people with. So take a moment and just sit back and even with this social distancing, it's still where we still can reach out. We can still have that development within us to know that God is always with us. He's always with us, even when we sit with ourselves. Sit with the Bible, sit with the Holy Spirit. God knows he's always with us. So that's my power within, sitting with him. I appreciate that word, Bishop. And let me just go back for a second. Something really, really, really good. You're number one on Project 365 as far. You're not on 32, really. You're not. Though this is day 32, the first of every month, we always call senior pastors in.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know that everybody saw the glare to hear. I'm sorry. Okay.
We do. We call in senior pastors the first of every month, not the first Sunday, but the first of every month. And of course, you were my first choice. Now, the January 1, of course, that was my spiritual father, Archbishop Ralph Dennis.
Ralph Dennis.
You know him? Anyway, Lord Jesus. Audience, please pray for my bishop. He loves God and he really does love people. Anyway, let's thank you again, Bishop. I really do appreciate it
Oh,
though.
it's my pleasure.
I really do. Takira, let's hear what you have
All
to say.
right.
I know it's always something good.
So, one, thank you so much, Bishop G, for coming on and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
That really helped me as well. I know it helped so many others. And when you get a chance, look at the comment section of our broadcast. Some people said some things here. One thing that really stuck with me, well, everything stuck with me, but using that negative and that positive to create that power. Um, a lot of times I feel like you don't know how strong you are or the greatness within, because once you go through something and you're like, whew, I did it, that's over. And you kind of forget about it. You don't forget about what you went through, but it's like kind of in the back of your head here. So, what I encourage people to do is just, like she said, take some time with yourself to unplug for a second and just think about some of the things that you've been through and that you've overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say write them down, because one thing I've done is I have like a little notebook and I write down all the ways that God has blessed me and got me through that I may have forgotten, because at the time that it's happening, it's such a big thing, it's a big fire, and once the fire's out, I done moved on. I'm like, thank goodness, whoo, let's start over, you know. But look at all those things that you've been through and how you got through them, and realize that you were pulling on that greatness within.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you realize how strong you are and how much you're capable of, it's so much easier to see your way through the negative and to stay in that positive to be even greater, so that you can be who you're supposed to be and
Yeah.
connect to who you're supposed to connect to.
Yeah.
And it's just do it. Just do it. That's what you need to do. And also, um like you said, like, don't isolate yourself when you feel like, oh, I'm going through something. It's very natural to do. It's something I've done in the past. I will isolate myself and you'll say, where's Caribou? I'm home in the bed chilling watching Netflix because I'm going through something and I don't want to talk to anybody. But that's not what you should do. One, just take the time for yourself and pause. But after that, regroup and connect with your loved ones, connect with the
Mhm.
people who are stronger than you at that moment, because we all work together. One day you're strong, one day you're not. We just all work together. And lastly, something that's very important that you said about sharing your power and sharing your influence. Once you learn that it's not going to hurt you to share who you are and share your greatness, share that love you have, share some of your ideas, share what's coming from within you. Once you learn that you are supposed to do that, that's when you can be elevated, and that's when you can be responsible for more. So I just encourage people to
That's
do
good.
that. When you share who you're supposed to be and you share your power and influence, it doesn't diminish who you are. It makes you even stronger. So I just encourage you to do that today, and don't be scared to be yourself and to walk into who you're supposed to be. And yes, right now, as I'm saying this, this is the pot calling the kettle black. I'm trying to take my own advice. I just
It's
heard
all
what I
right.
said, like,
That's
oh
us.
man, I need to do that. But walk in who you're supposed to be. It's really going to be okay. And just remember, you are not alone. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Awesome. Wow. Awesome.
Did you
You
see?
did better than I
Oh,
did with it. Wow.
No.
always have good, great feedback. Look, one of the things before we go, one of the things that we talked about was at the end of each month, we wanted everyone that wanted to participate um, to send in a message of, let's see, which segment was so heartwarming and touching to them. Someone else would say, which one you like the best? All of them were good. All of them
Mhm.
were good. But we had a door prize, or not a prize, a Facebook prize for
Yes.
the individual that did send in some information. And we were going to pick a name from those individuals that sent an email to info@trophyoflife.org. So we have a winner. And the winner is, thank you. I was going to talk about a drum roll. I'm going to have to get some sound effects. Anyway, Latoya Hall.
Woo, woo!
Yep. Latoya Hall. She wrote in and shared which one was her best, well, which one she really loved the most. And she did proceed that with all of them were good, but the ones that she really liked was Carolyn Brewer and Aaron Wilson
Yes.
Tucker. So they'll
Yes.
each will get a $50 gift card from the place of her choosing, or I can cash app her $50. So all she had to do was write in and say which one. Write in and say which one she liked. So Bishop G start. No, Bishop G, it doesn't count. Bishop G doesn't count. You can't write in.
Right.
Faster the best. We're start with. We're gonna do from starting tomorrow to the end of the month. So you have another opportunity to write in and say which one really resonated with you the best. Okay. Don't forget our health challenge. And let's see.
Yes.
Our health challenge, that would be the winner of that would be announced in July. You have 6 months to lose whatever pounds, at least up to 25 pounds.
But
So
what if you were too like me and you were too skinny and needed to gain weight? See, that's a shame. We don't get no love. The skinny
going.
people
I have to
get
keep
no love. Skinny people get no love. People who are too skinny and need to gain weight, we don't get no love. They be like, "Oh, you skinny," and they'll like, "I'm trying to gain weight."
Audience, we love you. Audience, we really love you. And just don't forget, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe.
Yes.
And let people know that we are rendering hope, encouragement, and inspiration all around the world. And if you would like to be a part, let me know. If you would like your pastor, if you have a great pastor like I have a great pastor, and you would like to have he or she to participate the first of whatever month is, oh, sorry about that. The first of whatever month I have available, we'll work it in, okay? I love you. God bless you. And thanks again, Bishop G. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Love you.
Love you too, Bishop.
All righty. Bye, guys.
Bye.